Welcome to my channel, artists. Today we will be sewing a bag. Step number 1, thread a needle. If you want a little more details on how to thread a needle, you can check my channel for that other threading the needle video. But I simply actually take a small piece of paper that you can see at the bottom of the screen, I fold it in half and thread the needle throughout. That way, that seems to be an easier way than licking the string to get it through. To tie a knot, you can see here I've crossed it and then I tuck the small end in. It's kind of a lot like tying your shoe where you cross the laces and tuck an end in. I also want to make sure that I tie a knot at the end of my string. A lot of times I like to do that as a double knot if you have a chance. Step number 2, sew a whip stitch. A whip stitch is a stitch that goes from the front to the back repeatedly. To do that, I'm going to stick my needle through my fabric. My fabric is a little thick, so you can see I had to wiggle it there. Notice it stops at the end because of that knot. And then I'm going to go through that first side again. That will make the string go around the side. Can you see how it's going around the side of that piece of fabric? And if I keep going in the same side, it'll have this whip stitch pattern that looks like it's almost like it's sewn in a spiral or in a circle pattern. And I'm going to use that stitch all the way up the side of my bag. A whip stitch is a great stitch to use when you're sewing bags because it'll actually give you the most space possible. If you use a running stitch, the up and down stitch, then some of the fabric can't get used to hold the things in your pouch. So bags and pouches and things are best used with a whip stitch. Step number 3 is to finish the end. To do that, you want to tie a knot at the end. Because your string is already on your needle, you can actually take your needle and scoop up underneath a stitch that you have already made, go around and through the loop. Step number 4, sew the other side. So I'm going to put my string back on my needle. I'm using that piece of paper threading technique. I'm going to tie a knot at both ends, and then I'm going to go sew that whip stitch up my bag. Remember, you're going to start on one side and keep going through that same side over and over again so you get a stitch that goes across the side or edge. On my artwork, you'll notice that it was a little lopsided, so I did fix that the cut edge. So I'm going to sew my whip stitch over and over and over again. When you get to that last stitch, you're ready for step number 5, knot the end. To knot the end, I don't actually pull that loop all the way down because I'm going to actually take my needle and go through the loop. I'm going to do that a couple more times. So I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to go through that loop, twist it around, and kind of go a second time through that loop until I have a knot at the end. Sometimes I like to do it a third time, although I end up messing up my third one a little bit. Not a big deal. Since I've done it at least 2 times, I can go ahead and cut the ends, and I am finished with my project. For this project, it's kind of a little better if we don't see the stitches. So I'm going to turn it inside out. I also added a strap of fabric. So as I turn it inside out, you will notice that there's like a little wrist strap that I got completely sewed into the project, which is a fun little thing. If you notice at the beginning of the video, I even had pinned it in and pinned it together, which is a good way to start that. I hope you have enjoyed making a bag with us today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. What will you create?